Apple have recently launched the brand new iPhone 5S, and we thought we'd have a quick look at it up against the Samsung Galaxy S4. Both handsets are top-selling devices, and the differences between the two can be seen immediately. The S4 is much bigger and is mostly made of plastic, while the 5S has a metal housing and is obviously a whole lot smaller. The S4's chassis is made of polycarbonate plastic and has a removable rear case, which gives you access to the replaceable battery. The edge looks like it's aluminium, but it's also plastic. Now, the iPhone 5S has only just come onto the market, but it's already setting sales success records. Apple has continued the familiar design language of the iPhone 5 with their aluminium housing. The display is only 4 inches compared to the S4's 5 inches, but you can see on the bottom that you've got your speaker and microphone. The nano SIM is on the right hand side and the power button on the top, much the same as other iPhones. The volume buttons are in the typical iPhone design and there's no getting at the battery. The lock screens on both are not terribly dissimilar from one another. On the iPhone you get your quick settings just by swiping up from the bottom, where you'll be able to access your music player, volume settings, display brightness and other things. Swiping down from the top will give you access to other settings like the calendar and reminders. The S4 also has direct access from the lock screen. You can enter the camera or you can swipe down to get your quick settings and notifications and widgets. When it comes to displays, it's the typical differences between LCD versus AMOLED. For the video, we set up both devices to have the same brightness, but when you see them both at 100% for this photo, you can see the difference pretty clearly. The iPhone is a lot brighter and washed out, while the S4 is a little darker but with more saturation. The S4 has a slight green tint and the iPhone has a slight magenta tint. The viewing angle is obviously much better on the S4 than on the 5S, which is typical for LCD and AMOLED. As for the menu and app drawer, there's significant differences between Android and iOS. The S4 obviously has an app drawer, multiple pages that you swipe between, and a separate tab for widgets. There's the top-mounted quick settings and notifications menu at the top that's separated itself into another 4 tabs, which you can switch between. The iPhone, however, doesn't have an app drawer. All the apps are on the various home screens, where you just swipe from left to right. But as with Android, there are ways to create folders just by dragging and dropping icons on top of each other. The iPhone 5S settings menu looks nice and clean, almost like it was Android. All the different areas are arranged in a list, one under another. When it comes to multitasking, there's not really much difference. On the iPhone, you just double click the home button, it'll make the apps and icons appear horizontally, swiping up closes them. With the S4, it's the same. Long press on the home button to get all of your apps listed vertically. The performance question is slightly tricky because there's hardly any differences in an everyday test. Sometimes the iPhone was faster, sometimes the S4. Overall, they're on a par, and there's nothing really striking in terms of speed on a general level, although scrolling is smoother on the 5S than on the S4. The iPhone does have less processor memory than the S4, but still the same performance, which is probably due to better optimization and polish. The iPhone's camera can be accessed directly from the lock screen, and all the most important settings are available directly in the viewfinder, like your flash and HDR. Taking a photo causes no delay, and you can shoot again immediately. On the S4, you can also access the camera from the lock screen, although it does take a little longer to start up than the iPhone. For differences in picture quality, you'd really have to look on a computer screen because looking at the displays doesn't really show any difference. There's no particularly big conclusions to be drawn here. This video was just intended to show you a few of the similarities and differences between the two devices. Ultimately, taste will decide everything. Basic advantages of the S4: bigger screen, removable cover and replaceable battery with SD card expansion. Advantages of the iPhone: well, some people prefer the design language, the choice of materials and the general handling of the device. But of course, it's always up to personal preferences. Big or small screen, square or rounded edges, plastic or metal.